There was one time, here's a great example, and I know that there's people watching right now that are making this mistake. Okay. And I'm sitting there trying to work myself up. And I'm like, today, I'm not going to go and not talk to somebody. Today's going to be the day, like I'm going to force myself to go do that. And so it really is a mental thing. Honestly, I didn't know what I was in before. So I've been doing real estate for 18 years, but I kept my head down. And so I wasn't going out and networking. I used to be an introvert. I wouldn't talk to people. I would just get bit. I joined Sub2, and my initial thoughts was just tools in the tool belt. Need to add more creative to my world. Boy, was I wrong. That was not what I needed Sub2 for.
Hello and welcome to the Dream Start Own podcast. I'm your host, Edgar the Connector, and today we got Kyle Karges. Welcome to the show.
Thanks, my man. How are you today?
I'm doing fantastic. Better now that I get to spend some one-on-one time with you.
Oh.
Every time I see you at meetups and this and that, you got all these people with you because you're just full of knowledge and you're doing all the cool things.
I like having a good time. It's good. We got some good people.
Heck yeah, man. And you're leading the way that way, being a good leader in the community Sub2, and Owners Club as well.
Yeah, I'm so grateful ever since I joined a couple years ago. And honestly, it's so funny. The reason I joined is completely different, right? I joined Sub2, and my initial thoughts was just tools in the tool belt. Need to add more creative to my world. Boy, was I wrong. That was not what I needed Sub2 for.
Okay, let's start it off. So where are you located at?
So I'm in the Phoenix, Arizona area. Born and raised here. Starting off like would just buy normal long-term rentals but in my own market. So just here, really got to know the area growing up just because I kind of grew up in the East Valley, the east side of the cities. But a lot of my jobs early on were in like sales and all sorts of stuff. So I'd like travel around a lot, did a lot of in-home sales. So even to this day, I'll drive around and be like, been inside that house, been in that one, you know? What's really cool is every once in a while in real estate, I'll be like, oh yeah, I've been in this house before. So just real funny, but yeah, Phoenix, Arizona.
That's like the hometown of Sub2, the Sub2 community, right? Because of Pace Morby, shout out to Pace and the wonderful communities put together and the wonderful people that have grown in the community and that, you know, have been outspoken in a good way and, you know, share great information the way you do, man.
Yeah, it's phenomenal here. I love it here. I always tell Pace everybody, I'm like, yeah, you're welcome. You can stay. You know, since I was born
from
here.
Utah, right?
But there's some solid people here, right? Really, really bigger names that have experience, that teach a lot in Sub2 and out. And honestly, I didn't know what I was in before. Right? Like, so I've been doing real estate for 18 years, but I kept my head down. And so I wasn't going out and networking and everything like we really heavily promote to do in Sub2. I used to be an introvert. I wouldn't talk to people. I would just get bit. I know. I'm serious. Massive introvert. I would just go job to job to job, right? My dad was, taught me how to work hard, super grateful for him, but it would be like, hey, put your head down, get to work, right? And so I had my couple people and I had my friends, my core group of friends, which we'd have a great time, but in business, I wasn't going out there and networking with a bunch of people. So it's like I literally like really big name people. I didn't know who Pace was. I didn't know who a lot of people were, even though they were all in my market. And so it just kind of shows that like you can be successful to a certain extent, right? By working hard. But man, if I could compare the amount of growth, the amount of personal growth and financial growth that I've been able to have by working with others and actually networking, massively different.
So would you say it's easier with working with other people and networking?
I will say it's easier and way more fun. Right? Like, so one thing that I realized too, like right before I joined Sub 2, and why it kind of I truly believe like the world and God and like prepare us for things. And I have my realtor's license here in Arizona. I don't use it a ton, but I helped one client buy a house. He calls me up one day and he goes, Kyle, let's go to Disneyland in like 2 weeks. Right? I would say more or less that's pretty quick type of return, to like, yeah, let's go, and I have a wife and I have 3 little girls. And recently I had some experiences where I'm like, okay, I'm trying to get outside my box, right? I'm like, okay, got a network. I need to just start saying yes to people. Just start saying yes to different things. So I'm sitting there and I'm like, you just got to say yes. So I'm like, yeah, okay. Yeah, let's do it. So I was down here in my office actually, and this is my basement. And so I go upstairs. I'm like, hey, babe. And I tell all the kids, I'm like, we're all going to Disneyland in like 2 weeks, And so like they got excited, and we rented like an Airbnb and shared it with this family, and we had an absolute blast. And I remember thinking, I'm like, wow, my dad would have died in that situation, right? My dad's just not an introvert. He's kind of antisocial. And so like, there's no way he could have survived, doing that. And I'm like, man, I had such a good time. I'm like, it was just a testament of like, we are not meant to do this alone. Like you can just work. How much harder do you have to work, right? To go and accomplish something? You can do that, but that's not how it's supposed to be. We are supposed to be around other people and do it with other people.
Yeah, well said. I mean, they say like even just about raising kids, it takes a village, right? So just in general, growing up, before caveman times, you were doing it together. You were hunting together. You were getting your villages together, so yeah, it makes sense. With today, the way everybody is social life is, it's all through apps and, phone, social media. So you're going to be speaking to so many people out there that are introverts. What is it that you had to do to break yourself out there to get to network and start talking to people instead of just standing in a corner? Because the first step is I'm going to show up somewhere, right? Mm-hmm. Then when you're there, it's like not just standing in a corner waiting for somebody to come talk to you. What do you think people should do to be able to break away from being solo?
Oh my gosh. So I tried for years. I had that. People can relate to this. I would be like, okay, psych yourself up just to go. Right. And you're like, okay. And then you show up. And so my number one thing for a while was just like, okay, get yourself to go. That was the battle, was just to get yourself to go. Right. And then we had a lot of the RIA, as RIA is the local RIA here, Real Estate Investors Association. And like, I went to it so many times, and I literally would go, I'm not joking. I wouldn't talk to anyone, like zero. I wouldn't have a single conversation. I would go in, I'd go sit down. They do the whole thing. And our RIA here was huge. We actually would have like 200 to 300 people. And I wouldn't go and talk to anyone. And I did that so many times. And then I even remember one time very specifically, and this was in like not like a sports arena, but like a concert type arena. It's very unique. If people know, in Phoenix, there's a Celebrity Theater is an actual location. And it's super unique because it's actually like a circular stage, and they have seats all the way around. And so we would do that there. We'd take about half of it up. And I remember sitting in this kind of theater seating with rows, and I come in, I see this row mostly empty, and I sit down and I look, and the closest guy to me is like 25 chairs down, where I'm like, okay, I'm good, and I'm sitting here, and I'm sitting there trying to work myself up. And I'm like, today I'm not going to go and not talk to somebody. Today's going to be the day. Like, I'm going to force myself to go do that. And so it really is a mental thing. Right. And finally I'm like, okay, just get up and go over there and say hi. So I get up, I go over, his name was Greg Slaughter. And so I go up, I go over and I say hi, and he's a nice guy, but honestly, like, I fumbled the whole thing and sounded like a complete idiot. Right. Because I was thinking so much about it. Right. And at the end of the day, I remember feeling dumb and I'm like, okay, whatever. It was kind of short and go. But I actually became decent friends with him over time. And what I attest to that is you just have to get yourself to do the things that are uncomfortable. Even if it's little steps like that of, hey, make yourself go. While you're there, go force yourself to go talk to one person. Who cares the end result? Then make a next goal of 2, 3, 5 people every time. Keep upping that goal. And even if you're not achieving the end results you need yet, you actually are achieving the end result that you need in that moment, because it's the skill set change that you have to, and mind, and honestly, the mental strength that you need to have. So fast forward, I super enjoy going to networking events and meeting people, and it will charge me up. I know it's different. Like it'll charge me up and drain me at the same time, but I look forward to it. I have a networking meeting tonight I'm going to go to, and I'm super pumped about it.
A lot of people will go out there and, like you said, building the strength. It's like just like a muscle. You got to break it and let it scar and rebuild itself. And the same thing about going out networking, going out there, talk to people, this and that. The funny thing that I started watching this old show, How I Met Your Mother.
Yeah,
just
great
having it
show.
in the background, listen to it. Yeah. And then one thing that the guy's always doing to pick up girls is just like, hey, have you met this person? So I started kind of doing that, walking around with somebody that I know, say, hey, have you met this person? The people that I don't know, just to break out, not to be so much about yourself, because that's what people are afraid of. Like, what am I going to talk about? I don't. This. So meet one person and just walk around with somebody and just walk around and say, hey, have you met this person? Just do that, and that'll help break the ice and get you more comfortable. It's not for picking up girls, but it's for picking up hopefully future partners, deal makers.
I love it. Anything, if you can make a game of it, right, then you should, right? Come up with something like if you have a goal, and you can even relate like a reward to it. Hey, if I go do this, right, stop by and get yourself ice cream on the way home, right? But if you can make a game of it, and yeah, you go meet somebody else and play a game like that, you're now interacting with somebody else the whole time you're doing it, right? And maybe you don't spend the whole time with that one person. Maybe you make a game of it, and you're like, I'll do this with this person, and I'll go play that game 2 to 3 times with new people with the same person, and then I'll go try to do it again with a different person, right? I think that's kind of cool. It's a great idea, Edgar.
Thank you. So what are you focused on today, Kyle?
Today, my 2 pieces in business is my fix and flip business and co-living. Okay. We've been doing fix and flips for a long time. That's where most of our big active income comes from. And co-living is great from a rental perspective, the cash flow, right? But it takes a whole lot of those, right, before it's really more high income. But the cash flow is great. So we specialize in both of those. We're buying at least 15 more co-livings in just Arizona alone in the next 12 months. And we own property in about 8 different states right now, but what we're really focusing on is Phoenix, where I am, and Metro Atlanta. So those are our 2 main markets. And I don't share this too much with other people, but we are also in the multifamily space. So I don't, it's not really my Mount Everest of what I tell everyone about. But I mean, I even just got a call for a 28 unit that I need to go underwrite tomorrow, and fingers crossed, they're already open to seller finance, which of course me and you both know we love.
Oh yeah, seller finance is great. For those of you who don't know, is seller finance, you have the seller become the bank on the property that they're selling you, instead of going to the bank and getting yourself a regular loan. And you can work out basically whatever numbers you want with them that they agree to, 30-year, 40-year, 50-year, just depending what they need, Be creative and figure out how you can help them out, that they can live on and be able to work yourself without having to get so much more of that documentation that you would do with the conventional loan.
Yeah, I can't even imagine my life right now without seller finance or some sort of creative finance. Yeah, like that life existed before. Like that's what, like literally all of my first ones were all just traditional bank loan homes, turning them into rentals. It was going to take forever to make enough money. Had to sell all those to capitalize, and that's how I actually got into flipping. And now I even told you at the beginning, oh, joining Sub 2, like I was prepped and primed and ready for it, even though I didn't know that's what I really needed was to like branch out and really start networking and getting to know everyone. I thought I was just putting that tool belt of more creative financing in. But now it's like if we're buying 5-6 houses a month in different areas, like 3 to 4 of those are all seller finance, creative finance of some sort. Grateful.
Wow. Awesome. Where are you mainly finding your leads at?
So mine gets split a couple different ways. I have my own acquisition arm, right? My own, I guess, wholesaling company that wholesales to me, typically, right? I'm the 90% buyer of all of our deals. So we specifically have my team target creative deals that would be good for fix or for co-living or cash deals for our fix and flip. So a decent amount of them we just lock up ourselves and sell to, that respective company, our fix and flip or our co-living company. And the other half, I would say, is split between referrals or some sort of wholesaler or bird dog, etc. So we do work with different attorneys, probate attorneys, things like that. So we do get some referrals that way. And then, a whole lot we do get from bird dogs and wholesalers. They're like, yep, here's the deal. Because I've learned a long time ago, I don't have to be the one to go and negotiate everything, right? I learned there was one time, here's a great example, and I know that there's people watching right now that are making this mistake, okay? They want to be a flipper or they want to go get a co-living house or whatever their goal is. And they are trying to just go get it themselves because they go, I can get a better deal if I call the seller or if I call the agent and I negotiate it, right? And at bottom dollar, when you zoom into just that property, you're not wrong, right? Because there's lots of times if my acquisition company locks up a property at $0 to the seller, are we going to sell that to my company or anybody else for $0? No, I mean, there has to be a profit, right? So no matter what, if you're buying a deal from a wholesaler, like you are paying more because there's a fee involved. But what they're not thinking about is the time value, right? Or the money value of time that when you spend it on the phone to go do all that. So what I learned a long time ago was I would think that my deals are always the best deals, right? And I remember one specific time, this was a house flip. I bought a house flip and it didn't go so hot. And I'm looking at it, I'm like, man, and I look back at the history and it took us forever to lock that deal up. And I'm like, man, we spent so much time working with the seller, doing all this other stuff. And I'm like, gosh dang it. And then that was the end result. Like that kind of sucks. And then I thought about it more, and I remember I chose to go with that property that we found in-house over a different one from a wholesaler. So I looked back at it, and I'm like, gosh dang it. Like, I went with this one because it was supposed to make me, it was $10,000 more because I got a $10,000 better deal, right? Why? Because we acquired it ourselves, right? But in all reality, I didn't add up how much time and energy it took for us to do that. So nowadays, my wholesale company charges my fix and flip company $10,000, $15,000, $20,000 for doing their job, right? And that company can make money for doing that. That way I'm comparing apples to apples. So there are people out there right now that are choosing to go into the acquisition business when they shouldn't. If they're flipping or whatever they want, they should literally just go to a wholesaler and have it handed to them.
Do you think that it's a mindset thing that you're thinking that, hey, I don't want to pay those extra $10,000, even though the numbers make sense? It's just paying somebody to do something that you can do. You're like, no, why am I going to do that when it makes sense to save yourself that time and just jump and scale faster and the velocity of money faster?
Oh yeah, what they're not realizing is, and I think it's normal for us from the way society has kind of ingrained in our brains and how we think. And we're so short term thinking. And we go, wow, if I could save $10,000 or if I could make $10,000 more, I should just do that. That would be the smart thing to do. But in all reality, it could be the dumbest thing for you to do, because what if it takes you 2 years to get that skill to the level of really getting the deal, when you could have gotten the deal and done 5 or 6 fix and flips in that same amount of time? And let's say you make 50 grand a piece. Oh my goodness. You just lost $250,000. Like, something like that kind of blows your mind when you really think about it, that the time, the velocity of money, right? Of just getting going, getting started. And what's the saying? Yeah, if you trip over what to pick up, like they always say, like, trip over
over $1 to pick up a nickel, something like that.
To pick up a penny, a nickel, whatever it is, right? And it's just like, it's just because you're focused on trying to find that penny or nickel, and it's like, oh my gosh, you tripped over the dollar. It's like, okay, how about you change your mindset a little bit? Great point.
Yeah, definitely. Mindset is huge, and just it's worth it to pay that money if you know you can make it at the end.
Yep. And I think I was blessed to learn this a little bit from Fix and Flip. Teaches you that because you have to put money in to get your end result, right? So it is about evaluating input versus output. I think that was a blessing kind of for being in that type of business, versus sometimes when it's just like wholesaling, and when if you're trying to get started for almost $0, you don't really pick up that lesson right away. You're just trying to do it for almost nothing, and then you don't realize like time actually was your cost.
Yeah, I think a lot of people still aren't considering that time in what they do. It's so easy to just say, oh, I can do that really quick, but when in the end you put all those little things together, those $10 tasks aren't going to make you millions of dollars.
Yep. And you think after so much time you become an expert all the way, but the reality is you still make similar mistakes just on different levels. So right now, one mistake I would say that I make on a constant basis is I still wear too many hats, right? Because you too, Edgar, right? So because of my background and working by myself for 15 years, I had to wear all the hats to do it, right? Or I so chose to wear all the hats. And now, even today, I'm like, I default to the same mindset. And I'm like, oh, a new thing. Okay, what do I have to do? What do I need to do to get that off the ground? What do I need to do to go do this? It shouldn't be what, it should be who, right? And somewhat recently, I hired probably about 3 different underwriters and different people for my team. Oh my gosh. Like, I've had underwriters before, but I'm like, what was I doing? Like, how did I not hire, when things don't work out, rehire, get the people. It's all about who. So that is a growth spot for me right now, is I'm asking myself constantly, I'm trying to, every time a problem comes up, Kyle, it's not what, it's who. And I'm trying to think differently.
100%. Who is the biggest thing to getting you to scale, to improve, to move faster, to free up your time? I love it. You're picking up more fix and flips. Where can people find your buy box or send you leads?
Yeah, so they can go to kargescapital.com/buy box. So my last name, Karges, right? And then capital.com/buy box. That will actually have both of my buy boxes right now. The fix and flip, which will show just Phoenix, Arizona, and exactly what we're looking for. It will also have the creative side for that co-living I was talking about in Phoenix and Atlanta right now.
Excellent. We'll have that at the bottom too, in the description, if you didn't catch that. Hey, give us a like, subscribe to the channel. It's free. It doesn't cost you anything. Drop a comment if you want to work with Kyle, or if you want to learn more, see where you can meet up with them and see, are you taking any more bird dogs?
We are taking on a few more bird dogs. I've learned to, just like everyone, once again, you got to hire more people to do it properly, right? We had quite a few at one point, and we still have a decent amount, but we can take on more bird dogs now, especially now that we hired the underwriters. We're bringing in actually another VA we need to bring in preparation for all that, because we can buy more property. So absolutely, if somebody wants to work with me, they can start by going to that buy box, and then any deals that match, they can just send it to deals@kargescapital.com.
So bird dogs, what we're talking about here is if you want to get into the real estate game and you don't know how to contact sellers, you don't have the money to fund deals, but you can use a computer and find deals and match. This is Kyle's buy box, which is the specifications of the minimums, what he wants to buy on a property. And then you go and search for properties that way that are not on the market, but with wholesalers, and then say, hey, this is something that Kyle has been looking for. Send it to him, and you can work out how he'll pay you if the deal, and he closes it, and there's a fix and flip.
Yeah, they don't have to negotiate it, right? It's just they're sending deals that are already under contract. They're curating it, right? I mean, I love wholesalers because I buy a lot of deals from them, but they love to just send out their list to everybody and all the properties. And I don't have time to go look at 20 properties that they send out all at the same time. We want a curated list. So bird dogs fill that need, and I'm super grateful for them.
Definitely. So if you're asking why somebody like Kyle would want a bird dog, it's because we don't want to look through a bag of rice. We want just the plate of the sushi sent to us. So that's what you're doing, is picking out the things that match him and sending it through an email and just saying, hey, this is me. Introduce yourself, what you're doing, and say that it matches the buy box, where you heard about it. And hey, Kyle's a big part of the community, so he's not going to burn you if it's a deal that he's not seen before. You know, if somebody sent it to him already and he's already working it, you don't expect to get paid twice. But as long as it makes sense, he'll go from there. And then
we train them.
Get a sense.
We'll train them, because we'll give them feedback. So if it's duplicates, we'll say, hey, we've already got this one. Otherwise, when they start sending them, we'll say, oh, hey, sometimes someone will send us an email with 5 in it. I'll be like, oh, no, we prefer 1 at a time, and so it's better for tracking and better on making sure we give feedback for everything. So we can train to expect that, actually, for anyone that sends us something.
Definitely. That's the way I do it with my bird dogs in the Houston, Texas area. So you send an email, 1 address per email, just so the other ones don't get lost. The purchase price, the close of escrow, EMD amount, earnest money deposit, and then if we can walk it, what the availability is to walk the property.
There we go, brother.
Sweet. If you guys want to get into a little taste of the community, Pace and Jamil are doing a creative national tour. They're going through 100 cities in 100 days. So in Texas and Houston, they'll be January 22nd is the expected date for them to be out here. It's free. Come out, network, meet people. Kyle probably won't be in the Houston one. He's most likely in his area, but you're going to meet a lot of people that are in the community that are go-getters. You've seen 50 or so episodes that I have already from other people in the community, and you can meet multiple there. And they're all go-givers. They're all good community people. I don't hang out with people that aren't good to other people.
Oh, they'd have so much fun. and you learn so much from that. And I'll definitely be at the Phoenix one.
Do you know when that one is?
Oof, good question. But I think they can just go to creativenationtour.com, I think, right?
Yeah. So you just Google it or find Pace. Where is pace.com? That's the best one. It'll tell you exactly where it is at. Okay. What made you get into being your own business owner?
Ooh. Well, the thing about me, being my own business owner in real estate, because I've been in real estate for so long, it was kind of one and the same. I didn't really have my own business. I mean, I guess I should say I actually did try to do an insurance agency at one point. And this is a truth that you have to actually become the person you need to become in order to be successful. Right. So I think a lot of people hear about these people that are uber successful. And it's like, oh my gosh, how did they accomplish that? But when you go look at their history and they've tried to do this company and this company and that company, and a lot of them failed, right, before they had success. I didn't have a lot, but I remember I tried to be an insurance agent, independent insurance agent and some other stuff. And it just wasn't the right fit. And so I learned some things about myself and how I needed to do things. But I did always know I was going to be in real estate even from high school. I had read Rich Dad Poor Dad. I know it's kind of weird for a teenager to kind of want to read that book, but I hated reading as a kid, and it turns out I just need to be more in the personal development, right, skill set type style of books, and then I'll eat those up all day. So ran into that. I'm like, yep, that's what I'm going to do. So I knew I was going to be in real estate. It was all just about preparation. And that's why when I was 22, I bought my first house. And I already knew I was going to, and the faster the better. And rented it all out to my friends. I house hacked before I knew what house hacking was. And I am so grateful for those experiences. So that's how I got in. But I would say, like, you know, you're doing your own business. I mean, a lot of real estate can happen on the side, right? So a lot of people out there have their job, their W-2 job or whatever, and they can do this real estate stuff on the side. I still had jobs, you know, as I would do that. And then you just have to, finally, you have to make enough active income. So I think one mistake, if someone wants to leave their job, if that's their goal, one mistake they make is they think, oh, I'm just going to go buy rental properties now. That's not going to replace their job, right? If anything, it's going to be good over the long run, but it's going to add more stress in the short term, right? Because you're dealing with all these problems. To actually try to leave and do your own thing and be your own boss, and especially in real estate, you need to go create active income. Find a way that every month you can bring in that bacon. So I was able to do that when I started as a realtor and a house flipper. When I did those two moves, all of a sudden I had active income, and I could be like, yep, I don't need that job anymore.
Great information, advice to other people out there. If you don't know what house hacking is, leave a comment below and I'll give you more information on it. When you did your first property, you bought it and you house hacked it, running out the space. Did you expand on that? Did you think about scaling on that? The reason I ask is I actually did my first house hack when I was 18 in 99, but I never thought about, you know, doing it to, like, as a business or to pick up rentals. I did it just because I wanted to stay in the place that my parents are moving out of.
Right. I did not either. I I think partially because I think I didn't know about house hacking. I think if I would have read and been like, oh, house hack, and I did it on purpose, I think I could have, you know, eventually just moved out, put somebody else in my room, went and bought another house and did that as well, right? And basically you're kind of doing almost the co-living strategy at that point, right? That's the kind of a difference between house hacking and co-living. You're kind of living in the house still versus not living in the house. So yeah, it does make me wonder now that I'm doing so much co-living. It's like, man, if I could have just learned that early on, that could have been an amazing way to get into co-living early.
Yeah. I mean, we do it. I did it because I needed to. I didn't think about making a business and that it could actually be a good necessity. You know, I rented mine out to kids that were graduating high school, going into college. So interesting, the things that we do, but we don't realize that we can make a business out of it and it could be so lucrative. So if you're doing something out there and you're doing it just one time, look more into it, because now you have so much tools and information. You just hop on, you're doing something, tell AI, hey, I'm doing this. Is there a way to make more money off of it? How to grow it and scale it? You'll get your answers quick.
So freaking quick. And people that are in sub 2, I mean, a huge part when they're trying to get those quick answers. I mean, if you're not in sub 2, I mean, obviously search YouTube, right? Watch your channel, Edgar, right? If you're in those communities, I mean, you got Chat GPT, right? All sorts of stuff. Just quickly do a search for whatever your topic is, and yeah, be like, hey, how can I do this more now? What does that look like? I love that idea.
Yeah, dude, tools are so easy to get to now. Answers. Going back to the book, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, do you think it still resonates today?
I do. Because I think the biggest thing about that book is just a mindset shift, right? I I think that's, and I am so blessed I had that mindset shift. I remember there was one story in there that I think it was talking about him and his, Robert Q was talking to his wife, Kim, and I don't remember all the little details. I should read it again, but I remember how ridiculously small the benefit of how much cash flow. I think it was one that Kim was trying to do. And I think it was like $17 a month profit or $23 a month profit. It was something ridiculously small, right? But if I remember correctly, it was like, but they put it all together and it didn't take any of their own money, right? So the point of the story was that you could go and do a deal with no money, right? Is $17 really ever going to do anything for you? And honestly, it's not enough, right? Unless you're doing, you're putting your war chest, savings and stuff for your rental properties. But that changed, even though it was small, it changed my mindset. And it was like, ooh, okay, you can, it's all about the cash flow. It's all about, thinking differently than before. And it totally changed it for me.
Yeah. Even if you're just doing your first deal and you do get $17, the proof of concept is the biggest thing that will change that mindset for you to be able to say, hey, I can do this on a bigger scale. So if you haven't read a book, multiple people have told me about Rich Dad, Poor Dad. Go out there, read it, Audible. There's so many ways to get it. Right now, being almost Christmas time, you can buy them so cheap.
So that'd be such a good gift, right? If someone's listening to this and like they're not into real estate, but they know somebody else, right? I mean, buy that book, right? Buy that book, send it to them. They'll appreciate it. If you haven't read it, I recommend it very highly.
There you go. Good Christmas gift idea. So they'll thank you later. We actually had Jake Day, his dad, Kevin Day. I had him on the podcast, and he said that he was working late night Sunday doing his engineering job on the computer, and Jake shows up to the house and says, Dad, what are you doing? He's like, oh, it's part of work, man. Your corporate life, you got to do this and that. And he's like, no, I read this book, Rich Dad, Poor Dad. It's like, I'm doing real estate. And that changed Kevin's mindset to get into real estate. And I mean, Jake's doing it all day long now, and Kevin's doing a little bit of it, but he's working with his son on it. So yeah, it's an amazing book there.
So freaking cool. I absolutely love that. So I feel a little bit blessed. Being that I was been doing this ever since my kids were little, they don't know any other thing that Dad does, right? Besides real estate and business. And I have memories right here on this bookshelf when my kids now are like 13, 9, and 7. But when they were a couple years younger, they would bring their toy phones and they'd put it right here. And they would pretend to like make phone calls and be like, Dad, I got a house. Oh, they want to pay you this much money and that, it's like, oh my goodness. Like, so what you're around, right? Whether it be reading Rich Dad, Poor Dad. So what you're putting into your head, whether it be through a book or who you're around. We talked about networking, all of that. My kids just think differently. And they don't think, oh, could I ever own a real estate? My daughter is in the car with her friends like 6 months ago. My wife tells me they all earned a little bit of money, and they were talking, what are you going to go spend your money on? What are you going to get? And the girls are like, I'm going to go to the mall. I'm going to do this and that. And my daughter is like, yeah. It's like, well, I need to buy a house first. And I'm like, what? Like, I've never told her that's what she needs to do. Right? It's just a different mindset. Whatever you put in, you can pull out. Yeah,
no, that's big being around it. I was driving around, and there were some kids, and I was like, hey, look, you drive around and driving for dollars, look at a house. They're like, why would I want a house for? It's like, dude, you can rent it and make money, and you don't have to work a regular job. It's more than that, right? Because we know about rentals and cash flow, and how the cash flow can just go away really quick when the bad AC unit goes or a roof leak. But you build up on it, and the best thing about the rentals is the long-term wealth, because it just becomes a big piggy bank savings that you put there, and later on pull that money out, loans, cash, income tax free, because it's a loan and not, you're not selling it for cash.
Yeah, most rentals, you're not really making money with the cash flow, right? Like, even I will say there's strategies like co-living and other strategies where you can amplify it, and to where, like, yes, I would argue that you're making money with some of those, but for normal long-term rentals, it's like, but I've still made a killing, right? Where I've some of my rentals, I sold, I think it was about 8 or 9 years though. Held on to it for 8 or 9 years, but I bought it for like 100,000 and ended up selling it for 550. Right? And you're like, okay, that's not a bad return, you know?
Very nice.
And that's just the value, guys. I can't pat myself on the back for that. That's just like, oh, you held on to the real estate during that time. You know, I wasn't making hand over fist on the cash flow. You know, it's like, oh, well, you got to maintain the property and keep all that up. But that's the power of real estate.
Like most entrepreneurs, I don't sleep enough. So the hours that I do sleep need to be of better quality. The 8 Sleep Pod, it has been a game changer for me. Perfect temperature all night, less snoring, and I actually wake up refreshed. And my wife does as well, which is a huge plus. Happy wife, happy life. You can try it through my affiliate link below. Now we go back to the episode. Yeah, that's the biggest thing. Don't look at the cash flow. That's what a lot of people, when they look about it and think about being a landlord, you know, renting properties, is that cash flow. When you're doing that, it's not about that. It's what it's going to make you in 5 years, in 10 years. The cash flow is just to put away to take care of expenses that are going to come up, that maintenance that it's going to be there. Okay. How are you running your co-living right now? Are you doing pad split, self-management?
So when we started co-living, we started with pad split, right? And for those that don't know, right, it's kind of like the Airbnb, right, of the co-living space. They're the platform that you can list your property on and people come to you to fill the rooms, and then you still have to manage them yourself, or hire, right, somebody to manage them for you. So I definitely am the type where I'm like, I don't like to reinvent the wheel, right? I'd rather pull the trigger, get going faster. So we started with pad split, still love pad split. Still the houses that we have that are pad split are great and amazing. But as we grew, we were able to leverage our skill set. So then we shifted to not doing pad split where we just kind of get it filled ourselves. And by that, I mean, I hired people and taught them, you know, how to do that. But more recently, and very soon, I'll have to share with you, what it ends up being. I'm literally right now partnering with a property management company because I get asked all the time. I teach a lot on co-living, right? I do like a weekly Zoom, on Wednesday nights right now at 6 p.m. Arizona time, where I teach kind of about co-living and how to bird dog for it, etc. And I get asked constantly by people that want to buy co-living, who can I call to do that? Because when you normally call a normal property manager, a lot of them will say no. They're like, no, that's way too much work to do rent by the room. And so there's a problem there. And so I'm partnering with an existing property management company that already does some co-living, but on the lower end, quantity wise, and they do a lot of other stuff. But we're going to be coming together and basically be able to offer co-living. The goal is to offer it across the country. So we're going to be coming up with that very, very soon.
Sweet, man. I look forward to hearing more about it. Speaking of futures and things going on, what is your Mount Everest that, you know, drives you?
So what drives me is not my fix and flips. My fix and flips have been going on for a long time, and that's been my good active income. I feel like that's a more, not greedy in a bad way, but you have to earn your money, right? And so, and I do like that it helps, you know, I remodel homes and make those beautiful. But in all reality, I mean, that's mostly just for me, right? The co-living side is more my Mount Everest right now, because I do see a massive problem in affordability. And when I did a lot more on the real estate agent side, you ask, and here's the test. Even today, you go ask anybody, turn to someone sitting right next to you. You're like, hey, so what's the problem with real estate? Everyone always says, oh, it's so expensive. That's the consensus, right? Everyone thinks real estate is just way too expensive. And so affordability is a problem, right? Any day you pick a random day and go look in the newspaper, right? Pull up articles. It's going to talk about the affordability somewhere just being too expensive. And so it's a real problem. And some of those articles are going to be about the cities and counties and everyone being like, what do we do? Our homelessness, you know, population is getting out of control and et cetera. And so I feel connected to be able to, I wanted to do something that would help solve. I don't think there's ever this perfect, I'm going to be able to solve all of it, but can I help solve that problem? Can I provide affordable housing? Right? Because a lot of these, it's only $800 to $900 a month, all inclusive with internet, phone, right? Not phone, sorry, but internet, water, electricity, everything's included, right? And I'm like, wow, where else can you go for that? You know, when you, what did you do? Oh, you house hacked, right? Because you want to stay in the house. It's like, you have to come up with something. And it's even harder today than it was when we were younger. So what are they supposed to do? And so that is my Mount Everest right now, is to, hey, I'm going to really push that. That's why we need 15 more in the next 12 months in Phoenix. We're not taking it lightly. We're going hard on it.
Yeah, house hacking is huge. It's huge. It's going to get bigger now. Affordability is hard. The interest rates, the mortgages, the job stability, AI taking over lots of jobs. All that's going to add up to it and just compound it. The PACE is big on it. That's my Mount Everest as well, to help out 40,000 individuals with affordable housing, and hopefully working with people like yourself and just so many other people in the community, I can reach that goal. Again, not doing it by yourself, but getting with the who, so people in different areas.
Yep.
With the 15 units that you're going to get, how are you funding them?
So we fund them pretty much all private money lending, right? So and let me explain, that's the back end though, the second part. So the first part, we buy almost all of ours creatively, like we talked about at the beginning, with seller financing, subject to, right, taking over an existing mortgage that's in place. So we'll buy it creatively, not using a bank. That's probably, 80% of them. Sometimes we'll buy cash, go use a bank if it's a fixer-upper, and we'll go through and remodel it, but then refinance. So either way, I need to make sure I have long-term financing in place. So that's the first part. But then guess what? The renovation that we have to do to add the additional bedrooms, right? Things like that. That's where the private money lender comes in for the renovation, and usually our down payment of some sort to buy the property. So every single one is being paid for by a private money lender or a partner of some sort. So that's how we do all of those. And those are typically like single family homes. We will also do it with the multifamily. I briefly brought that up earlier, and that 28 unit, if it works after I underwrite it, my goal is to about 25 to 30% of those, turn those into affordable units, right? And so we're kind of going to be converting some of those, and I think that will help speed up the amount of people that we can help with this process.
I like it. That's great. So private money lending, for those of you that don't know what that is, you don't have to be a lender. You don't have to have a specific job. If you have money sitting in the bank, you have 401ks from old jobs, you can use that money to invest it and do your due diligence. We're not financial advisors, but ask Kyle for his history, his HUDs, to show that he's been successful in what he's doing. So your money you'll see how your money is protected, and you can invest with them, and he'll tell you what returns, how long it'll be before you get paid back. And it's a great way to get into real estate as well. If you don't have time to do the bird dogging or finding the deals or do fix and flip, just put your money to work. As I've been talking to Alan Foster, shout out to Alan, is money that you have sitting, you can basically turn it into your own employee, because it will go out there and make money for you.
Yep, exactly. If your money's not out there, that's like you sitting on the couch, right? It's so easy to think about yourself that way and be like, oh, of course I'm not going to make money if I'm just sitting on the couch, right? But neither is your dollars, right? Take control. You might happen to have someone come and hand you $1, right? But it's like not very often. You need to go out there and be active. So I love that. Great way to explain it.
Thank you so much. Kyle, appreciate you being here. Where can people find you to get on Instagram? Is that where you're mainly, or Facebook, or is it at that?
Yeah, people can find me on Instagram at the Kyle Karges, right? My first and last name for Instagram. I put out a YouTube video every single week, right? And they can just look up Kyle Karges on there as well. That's the best way to reach out to me. And honestly, please do send me a DM. You know, I personally answer all of those. So I have learned, as we have talked about here, it's networking and it's who you know, not what.
Excellent. And then what word of advice do you have for somebody that wants to do what you're doing?
If someone wants to do what I do, one, I would pick one of those things, right? Because obviously at 18 years, right, you expand into multiple lanes. But let's say it's one of those lanes you're talking about, you need to get around that person doing that thing. Okay? Gosh dang, 15 years all by myself. And I know I could have accomplished 10x, 20x, 100x more than what I did if I just would have shortened the learning curve by getting around somebody else that was flipping, getting around someone else that was already doing co-living, because those are my two things. Whatever their thing is, go find that person and just be around them. Figure out a way to add value. I know that's people say like, oh, don't ask them how to add value. Just think about it, right? Try to find them a deal, right? You think of something that they might need, right? Try to make calls for them, run some of their CRM follow-ups. You have some time, you have something. Every single person has something of value. Go provide that for the person doing the thing that you want to do. And you will then be that person just like that in a short amount of time.
Well said. Adding to that is when you're there, you're talking to people and talking to Kyle and say, hey, I'm going to do this for him. If you don't like it, great. You find somebody else that's doing something that you want to try out, try something else. And then if you don't like that, you have multiple options to finally figure out what it is that you like doing. Because if you don't like doing something, you're going to not do it well. You're going to hate yourself and you're going to take longer to do it. If you find something that you enjoy doing it, you're going to do it a lot better. Your days are going to fly by. You're going to be happy with yourself, and the product's going to be so much better.
Amen, brother. Amen. Man, I'm all pumped. I'm all ready to take action, Edgar.
Thank you, Kyle. So, great information there. Are you looking to add anybody else to your team besides Bird Dogs? Could you use underwriters?
Let's see. So my next hire is going to be another VA, but beyond that and Bird Dogs, I am going to be adding in more like kind of operator type people. Okay. I've been telling you, too many hats, right? I keep doing that. I keep putting on too many hats. And as I expand my company and my business, like with property management, I am looking for people. So I'm not looking for a property management company anymore, but I'm looking for someone, an operator that's already running a property management company, to go and partner with them, right? And do that. So if I was going to go do insurance again, like I told you I was doing, right? It's like, oh my gosh, like I would have partnered with somebody doing insurance because, oh, I have all these properties and now I can have them all insured by that, right? So there's some synergy and we can very, very quickly grow, right? And do it the right way. So it's who, not what. So if someone thinks they're a great operator, either in their business and they're looking for a partner, like to come pour gasoline on it and kind of just do something a lot bigger, I mean, reach out to me for that. Or if you just think you're highly skilled in operations, reach out and I might have a position for you.
And for them, remote is cool, or you prefer them in the Arizona area?
Typically remote is fine. Yeah. I think
Sweet.
I don't have a problem with that, at least right now.
Sweet. Hey, so if you want to get with somebody that's already doing it, co-living, multifamily, fix and flip, property management now, dude, reach out to Kyle, get into it. You'll learn so much, and you can hear he's a good person. If you're an introvert, he was one before, and he's got out of it, so he'd tell you how to kind of
You can
pull
be
away
saved.
from there, open up. Heck yeah. I love it. Be saved. Fantastic, man. Dude, I think that's it for today. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for the knowledge bombs and nuggets that you dropped off and for sharing. Actually, another question. Sorry about your Zoom. Is that only for community or is it for?
We'll go. Nope, that could be for anybody. So if anyone wants to go to kyleandcarl.com, both with K's, kyleandcarl.com, you can register for that Zoom. And it's Wednesday nights at 6 p.m. Arizona time. That's where I am. And yeah, and you can, anyone can come and come learn.
Fantastic. Hey, you got so many ways to get a hold of Kyle, so many ways to get a hold of me, and many of the guests have been there. Again, give us a like. It helps the channel out, helps Kyle get some attention too. I'm here to promote them and share that knowledge that he's given us. And then drop a comment so you can learn more about this and get yourself out of your comfort zone and grow and scale. And maybe you can get a house to be able to house hack for others and improve the co-living, provide more co-living opportunities out there. A huge thank you to Kyle Karges for sharing their story. This is the Dream Start Own podcast. I'm your host, Edgar the Connector, and I will see you on the next one. Thank you.
Thanks, Edgar.
Catch this next podcast where you can start your dreams and start to own your time the way these other guests have.